This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 50 of the 2018 WEG show on the Horse Radio Network for September the 12th. This episode is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products, Horseware, Bait Saddles, and Bed and Barn Farms. Today we bring you a wild day of endurance. The first rounds of dressage and reining, and a first look at the horses for eventing in the jog. Reese and Phillip of the Dressage Radio Show help out with dressage, and many interviews from the day, including the world's #1 inventor, Tim Price. Plus, we bring you the first edition of the People of WEG at the end of the show. Be sure to hang around for that.
Welcome to the 2018 WEG Show, your home for all the news and views of the 2018 World Equestrian Games.
Hello, I'm Samantha Clark.
And this is Glenn the Geek, and we are your hosts and guides to the 2018 World Equestrian Games. Welcome to our daily coverage of the games. And with us tonight, we have special guests from the Dressage Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network, all the way from Canada. We have Phillip Parks in the house.
Hi, guys. How's it
Phillip.
going?
Good to have you, Phillip. Phillip is a Grand Prix rider up there in Canada and hosts the show and does a lot of training tips and things. And then also, we have another Grand Prix rider from Lexington, Kentucky, Reese Koffler-Stanfield.
Hi,
Yay.
guys.
Rep Kentucky.
Yeah, we're here.
Kentucky's
Hi,
in the house
everybody.
twice
We're in the
tonight.
house.
Go Cats.
Our cats. Our Lexington ladies are here. Yes.
And you guys have been hosting the Dressage Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network for 5-6 years now.
Almost six and a half.
Every week.
For 6.5 years. Yes.
So
We're used to this gig.
Yeah, we're
that's
okay
right.
with this. We're
Not
good
the
with
first
this.
time on the mic.
No.
We're going to get back to you guys in a second to talk about your impressions of the first day of dressage. About the first thing we're going to talk about every night for the next couple of days, and that's the hurricane. Auntie Flo is what she's being called now by many. And if you look at her picture, she has a big butt. Auntie Flo has a big butt.
Yeah, for sure.
So today's update, this we got from the WEG committee this afternoon at 3:50. It says today's update from the National Weather Service says that it's going to come in here now. They're saying on Sunday. It's going to hit the border on Friday, but not get here till Sunday evening. I think that's a little optimistic. I think it's going to be the rain bands are going to hit here before that. It's a big storm. It's 500 miles wide. And right now they're saying 30 to 40 mile an hour winds and a lot of rain. So we are expecting thunderstorms today, tomorrow, and into Friday. Not necessarily from Florence, but I think there'll be the outer bands will start to hit us. The storm is so big. So right now everything is a go as planned. They did cancel all of the expo activities, all the demonstrations and things that were supposed to happen for next week. They canceled those today, so those people are all going home with their horses, which is very sad because we heard from some of them on our page, all the groups. They've been looking forward to this for a year, bringing their horses here to do demonstrations, to highlight what they do best, and now they're heading home. So it looks like the the things that you'll be able to see when you come here, if you're still coming, is you'll be able to see competitions that you paid for. Plus, there's a theater over here that was very full today watching movies. And it got packed during the rainstorm. It was full. So the theater was very popular, and then shopping, a lot of shopping. So that's the update on the weather. As of this point, we'll be back tomorrow, and it shouldn't be a problem tomorrow at all. Okay, let's go into, I don't know what we're going to call it. The
Endurance Gate.
Well, yeah, Endurance Gate. Perfect. Let's go into Endurance Gate. I like that. We coined it. We get it first.
And we got
Credit
it.
us.
Yeah, we got it. We TM that.
So let's start at the beginning of the day. The endurance race started at 6:30 this morning, and it didn't start well. So apparently there was a lot of misdirection. We talked to people who were up there watching it, and they said there was just confusion everywhere. Apparently the riders didn't know where to go to start. So half of the riders went one place, and apparently some of the stewards directed some of the other riders, like half the field, 70 of them went one place to start. Another went completely different place to start.
Well, I think because they'd moved the start 3 times.
So nobody was quite sure. And it was dark. It was pitch black. There were no lights up there. It was pitch black. All of the riders had their headlamps on. Well, 70 of them headed out at the start at the right place. Apparently, the other 70 headed out a completely wrong direction. So that's what we understand so far. It's a little confusing, all of the stories coming out right now. And we have been told there's going to be a complete investigation by the FEI. I bet heads are going to roll. So they figured out that some were off on the wrong direction, and they said, what are we going to do now? And apparently they got together and said, we're going to let them do the first loop, and when they get in from the first loop, we're going to vet check them all, and we're going to restart the race all over again, and we'll just shorten it. So we'll take it from 160 kilometers down to 120, and we'll call that first loop a jog, a practice run. So what they did is after everybody got in from the first loop, they vet checked them all, and then they had to wait 45 minutes after the last horse came in before they could restart the race. So a race that was supposed to start at 6:30 then started at 11:30 in the morning. We actually, the riders that were off course, we got pictures from some of our listeners coming in this morning on back roads coming in that were driving alongside endurance riders along the road because they were lost on the course. So it was a mess.
I mean, I spoke to a chef de keep and she said it was really badly marked. The trail was really poorly marked. And she wasn't surprised.
And apparently the trail had some issues as far as conditions from the rains and everything else. And then we just were sent a video by someone we're not going to name, but it was a video from this morning when all of this started to break, that the rules were going to change and that all of this was going to happen. Things got a little out of hand, and we have a little bit of the sound from that.
He's a follower of ours. He follows us on Facebook.
So thank you for sending this video in, or we wouldn't have known. Here's a little bit of the sound of the chaos after all the announcements were made this morning, I think before the horses got back. Well, apparently what you didn't see, or what you didn't see because you heard that, was that the police ended up being called, and I was described as almost a riot, and I didn't believe that to us this video.
Well, I was up there when no one really knew what was happening this morning, and some of the riders were really upset. It was just really confusing, and no wonder really. One of the riders came in to the vet check and he said, I hear you're going to stop the race. You can't stop the race. You can't. And I didn't, none of us wanted to say too late. It's already happened. And it's devastating now that they actually... Well, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, you're getting a little ahead. I had a conversation with Karen Chatton, who is one of the leading mileage endurance riders in the United States with over 600 starts. And she told us a little bit. I got her on the phone today to hear whether this has ever happened before, or that kind of start has ever happened before in any of the races she's ever seen. And here's what she had to say.
Yes, from my understanding, quite a few different things went wrong, more than one. There were riders starting at different times and in different spots, and they went different ways. It'll be interesting once the dust settles. It gets a lot more complicated at a world event, of course. I've actually, in all the rides I've done, I don't really remember rider did that much of a screw up. In all the rides I've done. Usually what happens when riders get on the wrong loop, it's later in the day, not the start. I mean, how do you get lost at the start? That's just, I can't wait to hear what really happened and how that happened, because, the trail's going to be marked, and I know that the riders probably weren't getting to pre-ride the trail because they didn't want the horses on the field while it was wet because it's been raining.
So you can see Karen said she's never seen this in 600 races that she's ever done. So then what happened is they went out and rode their loops, and about, 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon, 5 o'clock?
Yeah. Well, about 2 o'clock, I was walking back up the hill from the cross country, and we saw some of them going out on, I'm not sure which loop it was, but they'd been out then for like 3 hours, probably, if they started again at 3. And it had been hot, then it got cool, then we had a 20-minute or so torrential rain, and then it got very hot and humid again. And then as we were walking up the hill on the cross-country course, they were coming down the hill, and there's no real, they don't have a grass track like they laid down for the cross country. They have like that red clay, and it's slipping and sliding, and they were trotting, cantering down that hill, and we saw them all coming down that lap as we were walking up the hill. So that was at about 2:30ish then, and we thought, ooh, yikes.
It was hot. It was hot and humid.
And the ground looked terrible.
And I know, and I just heard that a lot of the riders were being pulled at the vet checks because their horses weren't coming down quickly enough. There's also apparently a British scientist named David Marlin. I think we might have had him on a show, actually, who's been working on heat and humidity studies for the FEI since 1996 Atlanta Olympic Games. And he provided the ground jury with data from what's called the wet bulb globe temperature index. It's very sciencey, which showed a reading of 31. Anything over 25 is monitored very closely, and the officials agreed unanimously that 31 presented an unacceptable risk to horse welfare, and I think so many horses weren't recovering that they basically canceled the competition. I don't know that this ever happened.
Devastating.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the horses looked great. I saw one of the US horses looked amazing. Like it came out, because then as we walked closer and closer, we got closer. Obviously, it finishes in the main arena, the whole course, and we had to go through the vet gate. And so we saw them starting that loop. And one of the US horses was coming out there like a bat out of hell, whinnying, like pulling the rider. We saw, I think it was a French horse. I mean, some of them looked great. Some of them didn't look great, but some of them looked great. And it must be, I can't imagine training for this for 3 or 4 years maybe, and then coming here and having this catalogue of disasters and then being told it's for nothing.
I am being told, and this is not confirmed, but I am being told that from my source just a few minutes ago that they're looking at redoing the race in 2 months, and it will be probably held in Europe someplace. So that's what I'm being told. That is not confirmed, but that's what I am being told by a reliable source at this point. It is sad. We talked to the Uruguay rider yesterday, and she and her team came up here. They were so excited to be here. It cost them a tremendous amount of money. Uruguay, the only sport they have is endurance. That is a huge country for endurance. The whole country comes out and watches the races. It is very popular there. So for countries like that,
yeah,
and
the Bermudan rider, I mean, all those countries, they're not going to be able to go to Europe in 2 months.
And it doesn't. It's also not a great start for this WEG. It really is not. It was not well organized in the beginning. It was not well run, and let's hope that the rest of the competition goes a little better.
Well, the worrying thing is conditions could be exactly the same on Saturday for cross country. I mean, the wet bulb globe temperature could very likely be 31 on Saturday.
Yep. Well, and let's see how that does for eventing. So that's what we know as far as endurance is concerned. It's very sad, and it's something that none of us expected to see today. That is for sure. So there's not much else we're going to be able to say. There's no results. You will hear a lot about this in coming days. I guarantee you. You will hear a lot about it. The videos will come out of the Almost Riot this morning, which you'll see. It was a mess.
I did get some pictures when I was walking up the hill, and I'll put them up on our Facebook page too. And also, of course, I was talking about walking the course. I do have pictures of almost the entire cross country course. We had to stop because we couldn't take. They don't have the fences up in the vet gate yet, and they don't have the fences up in the dressage arena yet, obviously. So that'll happen in the next few days. But we have up until about fence 21 or 2, I think. So.
And you'll post those on 2018 WEG Show
tonight.
Facebook page.
Yes, okay. Glenn, give me a
but
chance.
I want to tell them where they're going to find them.
Yes,
2018
exactly.
WEG Show Facebook page.
It's going to be a late night. There's going to be lots of wine.
I think Reese brought the wine, actually, so we're in good shape.
We all brought wine.
She
There's
brings
plenty
the
of wine.
It's in the car.
All right, let's take a break for our title sponsor, Kentucky Performance Products, who sponsored the Uruguay rider, actually, and worked with her, so it's very sad that she didn't get a chance. So let's hear from them.
She swallowed hard as they walked into the start box. She could feel his muscles tense under her leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a great ride. She didn't have to ask. He galloped out of the box and across the field toward their first training level course. His ears pricked. Her heart pounded. He attacked each obstacle with confidence, clearing them with room to spare. A huge smile broke out on her face as she crossed through the finish flags. She leaned forward and buried her face in his neck, Their bond of love and trust blocked out all else. This love story is brought to you by Elevate. Research proven to have superior bioavailability, Elevate supplies the essential vitamin E often missing from the equine diet. Its all-natural formula supports healthy muscle and nerve functions. The horse that matters to you matters to Kentucky Performance Products. Call 859-873-2974 or visit kppusa.com to order today.
Come visit the Kentucky Performance Products booth if you're here at the World Equestrian Games to pick up a button for a chance to win daily prizes and grand prize, a $500 shopping spree at Smart Pack Equine. Their tent is located next to Smart Pack in the World Equine Expo Trade Fair. Purchase your Kentucky Performance products from Smart Pack during the World Equestrian Games and save. You'll receive 50% off your first month of Smart Pack orders or 25% off your first auto ship of a bucket product. These specials are only available here at the Smart Pack tent at the World Equine Expo Trade Fair. Sorry, it's been a long day. But you can find them also at kppusa.com. Well, Reese and Phillip, did the dressage have an almost riot today? That would be fun, actually.
No.
I want to hear about riots.
I don't think that will
it
ever
was not.
happen.
Yeah.
Much more subdued, less problems. There's a couple of technical snafus, I guess. Anybody hoping to watch the live feed on FEI TV, I guess somebody was dragging the arena and the cable was not buried deep enough and broke the cable. And I guess, I don't know if they were able to rectify that later in the afternoon.
I mean, really?
Yeah. I think that it was out for all the morning. And
That sounds like amateur hour to me.
Kind of. Well, so we did not arrive early. There's a lot of travel issues that I was dealing with yesterday.
Coming from Canada.
And just trying to make a safety plan. And so I was calling Reese, I was calling Glenn, and I was like, what's going on the ground? And so I decided, pretty early on that we were not going to, my wife and I, Meredith, were not going to fly in because maybe we weren't going to be able to fly out when we would hope to. And so that was that. And then talking with Reese, I was like, maybe I should fly into Lexington and we can drive down together. And she said, great, let's do that. Let's make a plan. And that's what happened. But that meant we sort of arose midday today because we left Kentucky really early, but not in time to see all of the rides and see them.
So you saw the afternoon session.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
We saw the second block of all the teams.
And today for dressage is team competition and individual qualifiers. Is that how it works or
Yes.
not? Okay.
Yeah, so not all the riders will move on and to ride the Grand Prix Special on Friday. So yeah, it's kind of both, but these scores only count for team.
And this was half the competition today and the other
That's
half
right.
tomorrow.
So the teams that have 4 riders, they will block them. So the first you put your weakest riders first and your better riders will go tomorrow. So that's kind of what happened today was the first 2 groups went, and the strong teams, they have good riders in all positions. So Stefan Peters went, Adrian Lyle went for America.
Whoa,
And how
Stefan
did
Peters
Stefan
is
do?
our weaker rider.
He is.
Oh.
At this point,
Oh, how the
his main
mighty have
horse,
fallen.
his main horse was actually pulled because she was not dealing with the heat very well, and so he is riding his second mount that he had
Right.
qualified for this games. Suppen Kasper is his name, and it's sort of a newer horse to him.
Yeah.
But it's
do we
great
have
that he has
how
a backup.
he did?
Yeah, so he finished today 7th with a 73.49, and Adrian Lyle actually was 4th. She had overall quite a good ride, just a couple little technical things, and she had a 74.86. Right now, the German team is really sitting in the best position, and I think so. Jessica Von, help me out.
Ron Breda Verno,
Thank you, Phil.
on TSF Delara BB.
Is sitting in first.
She's sitting in first with
Okay,
a
yeah.
76.67. We did not see her ride, but that held up pretty much all day. She was in the beginning of the day. And then right now a Swedish rider is, and this was actually quite surprising, I think to both Philip and I, Juliette Ramel, and she rides Burial KH. She had a 75.24. And
It's not that the score was really surprising because we saw the ride, but I think Sweden, I was saying to Reese, has kind of a sneaky good team.
Mm-hmm.
Their most experienced rider rode first, Tina Williamson Sylvan, who we've seen a lot in Florida. She rides in Florida, and she's normally their strongest rider, and now she's not a weak rider, but she started the day for them, and now I think we, like we talked about, the tendency is to see better and better, and if we see better and better from Sweden, they're really in there
quite good.
and really looking quite good. So
I bumped into Yogi Breisner, who used to be Team GB chef to keep for eventing. He is here as a Swedish, he's like a general manager for all the teams, the show jumping, dressage and eventing. Yeah. And also he said with some Swedish tour, like holiday tour that he takes around, like I guess horse.
He's a man of all trades doing it all.
And I said, well, it doesn't sound like all those people who thought you were going to leave Team GB and sort of retire off into the sunset. He said, oh no, I'm getting there. I'm looking for, but it doesn't sound like it at all. It sounds like he's busier than ever. And he seems to be loving
watching a little bit of the familiarization of the eventers, and actually the Swedish riders looked fantastic out there, because now we were kind of watching them, and it was really surprising.
They are trained by Yogi's pupil. He was at Waterstock with Yogi. He's called Frederick Bergendorf, and Yogi was his mentor. I was there with them both, so I was sitting there chatting. I was like, this is brilliant. I was standing in between them. I was like, I feel like 30 years ago again. I'm going to just hang out with you and feel like I'm 18 again for the rest of the week.
Well, it's fantastic to see that riders that used to do are bringing their experience to it, and because riding horses, it doesn't get new. Been doing it for a very long time, so the things that used to work still work, and the old training and new training comes together and can bring really great results, and we're seeing that a little bit with that.
Were there any riders this afternoon that just stood out to you? You went, oh, that's a surprise, or it was one that really stood out?
Not so much.
No.
Again, I hadn't seen the Swedish rider ride, so she was a little bit of a surprise for me. I wasn't ready for her. I think we saw Dorothy Schneider from Germany. Not surprising that she was. I've never seen that horse in person.
Yeah.
So that was from Sammy Davis Jr.
A new, fresh look at
so
the horse.
So if I was going to visit the bookie tonight, it would still be Germany?
But they wouldn't give you good odds.
No, you're not getting good odds.
But the Brits, Spencer Wilton was good, right? Did you see him?
Actually, we missed Spencer.
We missed him.
And we saw
and you've
Emil
got Carl and
Forey.
Charlotte coming,
Yeah, and they're coming out. So
there's some good
don't
teams.
Discount us yet.
Not at all.
Dun, dun, dun.
But as far as depth, the German team and the Swedish team look to have really good depth, and America as well.
American team has a good team.
So who do we have coming up tomorrow? Well, obviously for Great Britain we have Charlotte, and we have
got Laura Graves.
Carl.
Laura Graves.
Laura
we have
Graves.
Isabel Vert. We have Edward Gal.
Isabel Vert.
Yes,
says.
She's like
Samika Rothenberger. Cosmo we're going to see. So
right. So we have a lot of horses
there's a lot to see. And I'll give a shout out to Canada. Our two riders rode decent tests. Maybe not the flashiest horses, but really solid tests and put in a great performance. So, we've got a couple of riders coming up that are really, really good.
And I would say from the stadium standpoint, I think what we see and what's happening with the riders looks great. The stadium looks great. The scoring was on and off
There's some
reliable.
technical glitches on they're trying to present the scoring as it happens kind of thing, and we know there's can be always issues
That's
with
tricky,
that.
But it's fun to see that. And at the World Championships, you have 7 judges. So that's a lot of judges that are out there. So
they have
it's kind
7 judges?
There's 7 judges now. That's
and
right.
you take the 5 scores? Or do you take all 7?
No, they use them all.
I think they use them all.
Yeah. They don't
do
have
you-
drop scores.
Do you? How do you think the
haven't
crowds
instituted
were? Did you expect more people to be watching? They weren't packed.
You know what? When we came in this morning, I guess it had just been raining because we drove through it, and people were talking about there was a lightning stoppage in the riding, something like that. So we were like, oh, okay, it's a bit sparse. But the longer we stayed there, and when the sun came out, obviously, people started showing up and filling the stands. So I think there's a decent turnout.
Yeah.
From the other WEG in Kentucky, the first day of competition and the first 2 days of competition, there's not always
as many.
It's a Grand Prix. It's the same test over and over, and everybody rides the same test. So not a lot of people can handle that.
Right. We love it because we're that
because we sit there.
Dressage dorks.
We
like
the
it.
same.
Yeah, it's great. So, but I think from the stadium standpoint, the stadium's nice. The chairs are relatively comfortable, actually, because that was a big question if people could bring cushions. I didn't think you need them. Actually, they were fine, and
That's good.
yeah,
There's
there are cup holders, which
you
is
never
quite
get in
nice.
stadiums like
Yeah,
that.
so there's some. I think from that standpoint, and actually walking around a little bit today, the vendor village is quite nice. Actually, there's quite a good assortment out there.
Oh yeah, there's lots.
There's lots
in the vendor.
So we had a fun day, and I think I think it does feel like you're at a horse show for sure. Like I don't know how else to describe it.
There's not a lot of extras.
No.
I think they were planning that, but with sending the exhibition horses home, then, and again, we kind of arrived in a whirlwind. We're like driving all morning and stuff. So.
And
now we kind of know what to expect.
You'll be here all day tomorrow and have a wrap-up for us. Because tomorrow night we'll know who the countries are.
That's right.
We'll
know, yes, the medals will come out.
Who will move forward into the individual rounds.
Yeah, yes, that's the plan. So it should be a really good day tomorrow.
So they will ride, they do one test in this either today or tomorrow, and then they go into Friday, and what do they do Friday, the individuals?
So the first competition will be the Grand Prix Special.
Which, for people who don't follow dressage?
It's kind of a different version of the same test. The same requirements in a different pattern. People say sometimes that the special is a little harder. I think it depends on the horse. Yeah. But, they'll all be riding the same pattern.
Right.
And what level of test are we talking here?
It's all the Grand Prix. It's all the highest level.
Highest level.
Okay. All the highest level that
just
they
different
will do.
versions.
Yep.
And then we'll have a winner that day of that individual, and then they'll pick a certain number of those to go to the freestyle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Top
which
15,
is on
I think.
Sunday. I think.
It is supposed to be on Sunday. So we're not sure
AM.
we're going to be here on Sunday.
Are they allowed to use snorkels and things?
Yeah,
scuba gear is allowed. I think they'll
would be good.
The stewards will waive all that.
Yes, yeah. And that was one thing that was interesting today. There were three or four riders, Adrian Lyle being one of them, and Hans-Peter Mendenhall was another. It actually rained during their tests, and it rained actually quite hard for about, would you say, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
So that group,
rain.
that group had to deal with some rain, and I heard Adrian changed her gloves 3 times because especially in the beginning, your gloves get quite slippy, and so that was interesting. There was the rider from Korea, I think, also rode. So the three of them really rode, and they were quite wet.
Yeah.
So that was interesting because that's sort of luck of the draw.
But what can you do? It's just when you're supposed to ride, you ride, and if it rains at your ride, and an hour later, somebody else has beautiful sunshine. That's the way it goes.
It was a little cooler, though. So it was a little cooler, but it rained.
Might have been a trade-off. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a fun day today. I think everyone watching would have enjoyed once they got it rolling again. But tomorrow should be even better horses and riders all day.
And we'll look forward to your coverage tomorrow night here on the 2018 WEG Show. Reese and Phillip, hosts of the Dressage Radio Show. You can find them at dressageradioshow.com. We will be putting this episode out on your feed tonight, so they'll all be hearing it anyway.
Oh, great.
And I know you met some listeners today.
Yeah.
A random thing, we were standing in the tent during the rain, and somebody recognized my voice. A woman came and said, "Are you Glenn?"
No way.
Yep.
They did.
And she said, this is the interesting part, though. She said, "I listen to Horses in the Morning, but I started with the Dressage Radio Show, and I love it."
Yeah.
I mentioned you guys were going to be here,
That's
and she was
awesome.
so excited she didn't care about me. She just was so excited you were going to be
we
here.
hope we get to meet everybody.
Yeah.
We will probably do a meetup sometime
Yeah, we're going to
tomorrow.
try again tomorrow.
We're going to try again, find
we'll
a different
post it
spot.
on the 2018 WEG Show and the Dressage Radio Show
Yeah,
page.
Perfect.
we'd love to meet
Perfect.
everybody. It would be quite fun.
All right, sounds
Questions
good.
at every
Thank
level
you, Reese
aspire
and
to
Phillip. You
create the
guys can
ultimate
go
harmony
now.
between horse and rider,
Thank
and
you.
Bates Saddles are
Thanks a
here to
bunch.
help you achieve that harmony.
All right, we're going to take a break
That's why
for
Bates offer
Bates
highly
saddles and hear
specialized
about their
saddles for every
dressage.
discipline, engineered to bring out the best in you and your horse. The Bates Dressage range will raise your expectations forever. Beneath the traditional lines and elegant appearance, the Bates Dressage saddles deliver modern innovations for horse comfort and performance. The new Bates Dressage Plus and Bates Mono Plus feature luxurious, grippy, double-lined leather and adjustable ergonomic stirrup bars for effortless rider alignment and increased support of your optimal dressage position. The time-tested Bates Isabel continues to give riders a unique deep seat, sitting you in a central and balanced position. In addition to the Care Cushion System and Easy Change Fit solution found throughout the Bates range of saddles. Revolutionize your riding experience and fulfill your true potential in Bates Dressage saddles. For more information, visit BatesSaddles.com. That's Bates, B-A-T-E-S, saddles.com.
Well, the reining competition was going on today, and similar to dressage, it was team and individual qualifiers. So I think half they're going to again tomorrow. Or no, we'll have a winner at the end of today for team, for reining, and then we'll be going into individuals. Let me take a look. We're going to be going into individual second qualifier tomorrow.
The only discipline here that is more confusing scoring-wise than dressage is reining.
Yes. But it seemed like they had about the same amount of crowd over there at the indoor.
They're a lot louder.
They're a lot louder.
Yes.
Yeah,
you can have half as many people and make twice as much noise.
That's right. And right now we're sitting with Cade McCutcheon, who is the 18-year-old youngest rider here.
Cade.
And he is sitting in first place for the USA at the end of day one. Now, this is a team competition, so we're going to have more team results. We just don't have them yet. They're still going. Daniel Huss from the U.S. was sitting in second. Bernard Funk from Germany was sitting in third. And Anne, is it Peels or
I have no
from Germany. Sorry, Ann. Was sitting in fourth place. So we're going to have more discussion on Reining tomorrow.
The points are very, very close on those top five. It's 2 or 3 points between them.
And they'll take the averages for the countries and do all of that to come up with the totals and the winners. So by tomorrow when we're on the air, we'll have a Reining champion, and they'll be awarded their medals. So there'll be a medal ceremony for tomorrow morning
already.
for them.
It'll be the first medal ceremony of the games,
Fingers crossed.
So that's what's going on. Now, Jennifer, you ran into somebody while you were at Dressage. Tell us about that, because we have an interview.
While I was at Dressage, when one of the Australian riders, I want to say it was Brett Parbury.
Yeah, I love
finished
him.
his test. There was a group of people above me who leaped in the air, stomped, and just brought the house down. And, of course, it was the Australian team. So I raced up there to get an interview. And so I had a lovely chat with them, but they weren't the Dressage team.
So let's take a listen.
Da, da, da.
Here I am in the Dressage venue with at least part of Team Australia. And I'm just going to go down the line. And I came up here because that was Brett, right? Brett got finished with his Dressage test. They stood up and screamed and yelled and shook the whole stadium. So I wanted to stop by and say hi to him. So I'm just going to go down the line. What's your first name and what discipline are you associated with?
McKinnon and Reining.
I'm Sam and I'm with the Reining team.
Martin and with Reining.
Ainsley, Reining.
Tanya, Reining.
Shauna, Reining.
Well, I've got the entire... Now, is this the entire Reining team I've got here?
No, the others just left.
The others, they're the ones that lit out of here in a hurry. Yeah. How many Reining riders do you have here for WEG?
5.
5 riders. And have you done a complete rotation of all your riders yet?
No. Only 2 of them have gone.
2 of them have gone. And how did it go for them?
We had a 2:18 and a 2:16 and a half. So at the moment they're in
reasonable.
One was pretty good and one just
not so good.
Yeah.
All right. And what are your impressions of WEG 2018 so far?
It's good. It's a little different. I've never been to one before, so it's good.
Do you normally train in the U.S.?
Yeah, I live over here. So
where at?
In Tennessee, near Memphis.
In Tennessee. Yes, you're not a Texan.
No,
you're not an Australian Texan. They're the Texans down here. They have the Texas swagger going. All righty. And are you one of the riders on the team?
I am, yes.
And when do you go?
I went this morning.
And what did you think about the facility that you got to ride in? How the judging went?
It's a great arena. Yeah, it's a good big arena, good ground. The barn's right there. It's good warm-up facilities, and it was ideal for showing him.
And tell me about your horse.
My horse is 12? 12-year-old quarter horse stud, Colonel Smart Spook. I've only just had him for the past couple of months, so it's a bit of a quick preparation. But he's a very nice horse, and hopefully I can hang on to make the consolation tomorrow.
There we go. Now, how do you think your ride went? Were you disappointed? Were you thrilled? Somewhere in the middle?
Somewhere in the middle. Some parts were really good, and then other pieces that just kind of let us down just a little.
Now, overall, since not all the riders have gone yet, there's some more to go, how do you think the rides are, how the competition going so far, the quality of the rides, and how's it going?
There's some really good ones. You know, US is always strong, of course. But then I think Italy has had some good runs across the board. Belgium's had a couple. And Brazil. So, yeah, there's a few pretty strong teams.
Well, thank you very much, Reining Team Australia, part thereof, for chatting with us a little bit, and have a great WEG.
Thank you.
Can you give me an Aussie?
Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
Yeah, thank you.
In the world of horse racing and elite equestrian sports, it's all about how to prepare and repair. Ice Vibe is a truly portable and highly efficient circulation therapy system for your horse. Before activity, prepare to prevent damage by using the Ice Vibe's vibration pads. Repair after the event by using the unique combination of cold packs and vibration to minimize swelling and encourage blood flow. And because it's battery powered, Ice Vibe is truly portable. The essential and affordable tool to prepare and repair. Ice Vibe.
Well, we've talked about reining, we've talked about endurance, we've talked about dressage. Let's talk about eventing, because today we finally got eventing underway with the first horse inspection. But before that happened, I managed to meet the entire New Zealand team. They came up for a press conference and I got to talk to Tim Price. So, congratulations on winning Burley.
Thank you.
And like you said there, that gives you a nice little feeling coming into this?
Yeah, it's a nice little bump that is fresh in my mind, and I think that'll be a good thing to take forward and to use. You know, I've just jumped a whole bunch of big fences just a couple of weeks ago, and then had to jump under pressure on the last day, and those are things that I will carry with me. But apart from that, it's really just a matter of going through the motions of a new competition with a completely different horse in a team format.
When did you decide that Ringwood Skyball would go to Burley and she would come here?
Very early in the piece, to be honest. Ringwood Skyboy is a very honest horse as far as he'll do what he thinks is the right thing, but he hasn't always been the most tidy at doing it. He has been improving the last couple of years, which is quite late in a horse's career to be showing these signs of improvement. But so I wouldn't have predicted him as being a definite leader when it comes to a place like Burley. I think he's a great Burley horse, but to do what he did was a little bit unexpected, and I was very, of course, proud of him, and it was great to put it together. But without having had that result and looking at his typical form at top level, he wouldn't be the ideal horse to bring somewhere like this, where the competition is so fierce through the three phases. So I was sort of naturally going away and looking at what else I had and what I could bring other than him. And so Sika Tinker I had last year. We get on like a house on fire. She's quick and fierce and pretty and lovely on the flat as well. So I think the whole package is what's required here, not just individually, but the team's going to have to be strong across the three phases. And so she was a good natural choice that we thought of earlier in the year.
When you describe her quick and fierce and pretty and the whole, she sounds like you're describing Janelle. How did that decision come about that you would keep the ride on her?
It came about through the winter months of discussions over the dinner table. No, because I had her last year, which was legitimate. She won Buccalo at the end of the year last year in a very strong field of 110 competitors, and she was super and really showed her class. She came out this year and she would have won Tattersalls actually, had it not been for losing shoe early in the cross country and me clocking up some cross country time faults. The one thing she is very exceptional is speed, and so I just took her easy. The rain was coming, and so came out and jumped a lovely clear on the last day and came ninth, I think. But to get back to your question, it was more the need for a horse for this competition, and I just lacked a horse that would truly suit this competition. And Janelle had quite a few in her back pocket. She's got this one, Classic Moe. She has Fairy Dynamo, who obviously won Lamulin and is a cracking little mare, and she has a couple of other nice horses that are in the wings of 3-star that could have been potential had we decided to take that course of action. And this mare, it just felt like would be a good option, and it's very much us working as a team, both of us together. A good option for me to have a go at running through to this competition with, because we want a proper team as a Kiwi nation, and I've been a couple of times as a bit of a pathfinder type capacity, and we saw this opportunity to have a bit more of a spearhead kind of role in the team, and saw her as a horse to do the job. So we made that plan during the winter, and I wouldn't say reluctantly, but Janelle was on board with the principle of it, but it was also very difficult for a top rider to pass over such a quality mare. So it's a really special thing between us two that we can do something like this, and hopefully it's for the best.
And now you're riding as husband and wife on the same team at the same WEG, which is pretty rare. I don't think that's happened I don't know if it's ever happened. Maybe.
No, I think it's, there's been couples and things, but not maybe both at top level or but either of them at the top level. But yeah, it's a fun.
Done at the same championship is pretty rare. So Graham talked about the dynamic about how as a team you can come together and ride as individuals and then come together as a team. But you've got the extra dynamic as riding as husband and wife competing against each other, but also wanting the best for each other. I'm sure. Is that difficult to navigate, or you've become so used to it?
No, we've become so used to it. We've been doing it for a long time, and it's very rare. It's a very rare situation where we're both jostling for first. So if you think of it like that, where we both just want each other to do well, and one of you is typically going to be having a better day at the office than the other, and so you really want to push that person along and support them as much as you can. We haven't had a situation where we're both first equal,
Maybe this
and then
time.
we have to give a little nobble of the knee as we go past, or something off-putting, which of course we would never do, but that would be a good problem to have, I would say.
Everyone's made a big deal about, Janelle's coming back from having Otis, and now she's bigger and better than ever, or not bigger, better than ever. Yeah. And everyone hasn't really said that his father had changed the way you ride. Has it changed your perspective at all? Or?
It's made me a happier man. I really enjoy having Otis in our world, and it gets me thinking a little bit more laterally about life and what you want to do, and spend more time with him is definitely a key to the future. But as far as my actual performance in the ring, I don't think hasn't changed much there. Janelle's side of it was very much a physical, get herself back into shape. I had no doubts that her type of mentality was not going to be affected by having a baby and things, because she's just so cool as ice when it comes to the way she delivers a performance, and that's not something she does out of an adrenaline or a foolish bravado that is going to disappear after having a child. It's just out of her belief in how she delivers her performance.
Do you think you'll be able to persuade her to have any more? It's pretty you can't do embryo transfer.
No, yes, the word surrogacy has come up and all sorts, but I don't think you can really justify that off the back of just wanting to do a couple of horse trials.
Again.
No, we want to have a life outside of competing as well, and we'll just see what's around the corner and keep everything in perspective.
Okay, well in the meantime, best of luck at WEG.
Thank you.
What about, I was laughing, I was telling everyone here how I told all the other riders, they're sort of hawing about Florence and playing it safe, and you and Janelle, I told you about bring it on.
Well, we're probably a bit foolish with that because we haven't spent any time in a hurricane zone or anything like that over in little old England, but so hopefully we don't regret those sorts of comments. But yeah, we want it to be dramatic and thrilling, and we're quite good in that kind of environment, the Kiwi lot, digging deep and getting things done. So yeah, we want it to be a proper event, proper competition.
Best of luck, and thank you so much. Tim is such a lovely guy, and his wife, they're complete opposites. Tim is chilled, laid back, super relaxed. Obviously, comes here to compete, but his wife is like he said, ice runs through her veins when she's at a competition, and she's like a dynamo. And she was saying they asked someone, I think from, I can't remember who, asked them to describe their horses, and Janelle said, which is, it's sort of common knowledge that her horse is a real cross-country horse, and she said, I hope the course is tough because I don't want it to be a dressage test. So, yes, I hope we get 10 inches of rain. I hope it's hot as hell. I hope the hill's a mile longer than anyone realises. And then, she was really funny.
Laying it down, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. She was terrific. She was terrific. And she's like probably the only woman or the only rider in the world who could get away with it, because she could actually follow through and come through with the goods if that happens. Because that horse was the fastest horse at WEG in Normandy 4 years ago, and was the fastest horse at Badminton, which she won this year. She then went on and won Le Moulin too. She is the fastest woman in the world. She's incredible. I've got nothing but I'm surprised I can even talk to her because I'm so in awe of her, but she's so nice that she makes it easy. So, yeah, go Tim and Janelle Price.
Well, it was a New Zealand press conference, and Mark Todd must have been there.
Mark Todd was there. He talked about, he's got the most amazing little horse called McLaren, which makes you almost, as soon as you say that, it makes you think of a little race car, and it is like a little race car. It's like a Formula One, beautiful, sleek little bay, sort of jumping machine, and he loves this horse. I've seen it go a few times. It's 11, but it's quite green. And he admitted too, if this had been a 4-star course, he probably wouldn't have brought it, because it's 3-star. This horse jumps like you wouldn't. I put a picture of it jumping on Twitter, and the girl who broke it and trained it up to, I can't remember what level, but said she always remember when she first started jumping, it used to jump her off all the time. Like, it's that good. And Mark said it's a little horse, and he said it reminds him a lot of Charisma, but it's a little smaller and it jumps a little better. So make of that what you will.
Is it going to be the Todd and Janelle show?
And Tim. Yeah.
Todd and the Price show, and we've got Blythe Tate back. Of course, he's a former world champion. He's on the team.
New Zealand's to be reckoned with this year. New
Zealand's to be reckoned with, and Dan Jocelyn too. He's a good, solid team member. And they're just such nice guys and girls. It's a great team. So it was fun to chat to them. They all sailed through the trot up, as did pretty much everyone. 2 horses were held and then passed upon re-inspection. It was hot as hell at the trot up. It was one of those, I think all day we've had sort of periods where it would get cool, rain, like have a massive shower,
for a little while,
and we'd all get soaked, and then suddenly the sun would come out again. It would be very hot and very humid, and then we baked under the sun for the trot up.
It's almost worse after the rain.
I think it is.
They did the dressage trot up under a roof.
They did not do the dressage trot up under the roof. They did it in the blazing hot sun, and it was just awful.
Because they could have done it in the same spot.
And everyone sweated, not just us, but the pool riders, the horses, the grooms.
Were they all dressed up?
Of course they were, and they all looked
Who won
beautiful.
The beautiful contest?
The Germans looked really good.
Yeah.
They looked really stylish. They weren't over the top. No, actually, no one looked over the top. Everyone looked great, but the Germans looked especially great. The women had great little suede boot, knee-length suede boots with the German colours, tassels.
Oh, neat!
And then, but everyone looked great. It's despite the heat.
No fashion faux pas this time?
No. But I must admit, I didn't see to the very end because I left because I went to talk to some people, so I didn't see all of it. But as far as I knew and as far as I saw, everyone looked absolutely beautiful and impeccably turned out. Props to the grooms.
Yay!
Props to the grooms.
And tomorrow we'll start the
dressage for the eventing at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Right?
Yep, we'll see the first 2 rounds of the horses and some of the individuals. So, I can't wait. I'm really excited.
Now, because eventing is the way it is, the team competition goes along. It's
alongside
not like,
the individuals.
Yeah, alongside
they all compete.
The individuals.
So,
there are some here that are representing teams, and then there are some individual eventers here, too.
Yes. So just before I sat down, I saw a quick tweet that Lauren Kiefer will be the individual for the United States. So Lauren and Vermiculus will be the individual, which means the team for the US will be Philip Dutton, of course, Boyd Martin, Will Coleman and Lynn Szymanski. So 4 good team members. I was going to say 4 good hot thoroughbreds, but Will and Lynn definitely 4 out-and-out galloping thoroughbreds.
And experienced riders too.
Yeah,
they're
Boyd and Philip.
First timers.
Hello.
Yeah.
Boyd never know. Boyd always gets round.
Having owned thoroughbreds before, we're so excited to see so many thoroughbreds coming back into eventing too.
I know, it's great.
It's
too.
terrific. So now you also, before we get off of eventing, you got to walk the cross-country course. What are your impressions? Tell us about your favorite jumps or what you think.
My impressions are it's the most beautifully presented course. The jumps are stunning. Stunning and no expense spared. They're works of art. Every jump is so beautifully presented.
And who is the course designer?
The course designer is Captain Mark Phillips, and some of the... I think some of the jumps have been built or finished by Travis Schick, who's another Lexington guy. Well, he lives in Lexington now. He's not from Lexington, but shout out to him. But they're beautiful. The weird thing is, though, they've got this green track that sort of runs along the course, and then outside
which was the old
track,
golf course, right?
It's all on the old
fairway,
golf course, but then where it deviates from the golf course, like when you come up the hill or other bits, all around there is red clay, and it's like a building site. There's timber. You can see how much work they've had to do, and it's some of the footing is amazingly good, and some of the footing just after halfway through the course walk, we had one of those downpours. It was like 1:30 I think at lunchtime, and it rained for about 20 minutes, and after we started walking after that, there was lots of standing water on the course, lots of big puddles, and but I think where the golf course is, there's lots of drainage, so you can see where they've got the drains and where they drain it off the course, but where the water goes to the drains, there's a lot of standing water
Yeah.
around the drains. And I don't know how quickly that drains, and I don't know how much of a problem that will be if it rains a lot on Saturday or before. But it was pretty wet already. It's pretty wet already.
Team member order of go is going to be very important. Getting information back from members who have gone already is going to be crucial.
Yeah.
And also whether it rains in the beginning of the day or rain starts raining halfway through the day, that's also makes a big difference too. But these eventers are also used to riding in the rain and bad weather.
Yeah, I just don't know how much it can stand.
Yeah. They'll be having every stud type they have in their box will be available for Saturday.
Well, just the big ones.
Just
The big ones.
The shorter the grass, the bigger the studs?
Yeah.
The grass, yeah.
Because the grass is really, really short here.
It's a golf course.
It's much better than, I mean, if you'd been here in April, there was hardly any grass.
Yeah.
There was hardly any grass. So it actually looks really good now.
It's very dense. There's a lot of it, but it's like 3
not-
inches high.
Compared to what it was, it's not short. It actually looks long.
It's
Because
better.
When I came in April, there was nothing. It was
Wow.
like a like a balding man.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just there's a lot of water on the
Yeah.
course, like puddles and. I mean, I'll put the pictures up. You'll be able to look on our Facebook page. I promise I'll have them up before midnight. And but the jumps are beautiful. But and the hill is a hill. The hill is a big climb.
And
It's
that's
a
at
big
the
long
end.
climb at the end. And what I couldn't do is I couldn't walk the last few fences because obviously I couldn't go through the endurance and I couldn't go through the dressage arena. But we'll get them up whenever
Yeah.
they're available.
For the endurance races, part of what they do is put an elevation map up. So throughout the X number of miles on that loop, you can see mile by mile what the elevation change is. It would be interesting to see that on the cross-country course.
They don't, and we could probably find out.
Somebody has it somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to that. That's, of course, coming up on Saturday. We've had a lot of people asking on our Facebook page, should I come, shouldn't I come, what to do about the storm. We can't tell you what to do. I am posting regular weather updates on the Facebook page, 2018 WEG Show. And I'm just giving you the National Hurricane Center's report, and I'm posting them up there, and you guys have to decide. We can't help you decide what to do about whether you're going to come or not. That's entirely up to you, nor do I want to take that responsibility. So
We're here.
We're here, and I will say this. When you're on the grounds here, there are lots of buildings that are super safe, like the one we're in. This building is not coming down.
No.
It's made of concrete block.
They're very sturdy.
It's very sturdy buildings. The barns, let's reassure everybody, the barns are very sturdy
They're
that the
permanent
horses are
barns.
in.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a problem with those. As far as you're getting here or getting home, that's probably more of a concern than being here. But that's a decision you have to make based on your flights or whether you're driving or what your story is at home. A lot of you people are affected by this storm, and we're thinking about you too, and we're saying prayers for all of you that are along the coast. We have a very special segment that we're going to do at the end of every show. It's called The People of WEG. These are fun people that we meet that we do little interviews with. We have a couple of them for you tonight, but we're going to do that right after we talk about Bed and Barn. Are you towing your horse and need a place to stay? No worries if you are traveling on the East Coast. Stop at Bed and Barn Farms, an awesome horse hotel in North Carolina, conveniently located halfway between the Northeast and Florida. They are having plenty of room for large trailers, large stalls, paddocks, arenas, trails, and best of all, lodging for you as well that sleeps 8. That's where we're sleeping. Wi-Fi, cable, full kitchen, and Tam's Tax Store on site. So pull out your cell phone and book a room today. Bed and Barns Farm, located at Forest City, North Carolina. 10 minutes to try on International Equestrian Center, 30 minutes to Fent, and an hour from Charlotte or Asheville. The best horse hotel around? Find us on the web at bedandbarnfarmsnc.com.
And now the People of WEG.
Well, in our People of WEG segment, we have found somebody who's been a fan of ours for years, I think.
Yes, definitely.
She is an auditor of ours, and her name is Aubrey, and you came down from Virginia, right?
Yes, yeah, I drove down yesterday all the way from Virginia, so happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you here. So, is this your first WEG?
This is my first WEG.
Yay, so exciting. Now, how long have you been listening to the shows on the Horse Radio Network?
Oh my gosh, I've been an auditor for probably about a year and a half, but I've been listening for a lot longer than that.
Longer.
So it took me a while. while. It took me a while to become an auditor.
Yeah, and
but it's great. So.
What kind of rider are you?
I do primarily dressage now. I did some low-level eventing, but I kind of got out of that. So mostly dressage.
Mostly dressage?
Yeah.
Very good. Cool. Do you have a horse?
I do. I actually have two. I have a Arabian Appaloosa named Callie, and she's a pony. She's pretty awesome. And then I have a off-the-track thoroughbred named Flynn.
There's a combination.
Yes.
The Arabian Appaloosa and the off-the-track thoroughbred.
Off-the-track thoroughbred, yeah.
Which one's hotter?
Actually, the Arabian Appaloosa, way hotter.
That's what I would have guessed.
No, I didn't see that.
So
That
was there an
doesn't surprise
Appaloosa
me.
competing in endurance? Yeah, there you go. Well, Aubrey, we're so glad that you were able to join us here and
thank
have
you.
fun. And you're welcome to sit in and watch as much as you want.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Auditor Aubrey. By the way, if you want to become an auditor of the Horse Radio Network, you go to horseradionetwork.com and click on the auditor. It's a super secret auditor club. There's about 400 of them, so it's not that secret, but it's a lot of fun. Thank you, Aubrey.
Great. Thank you so much.
Well, I am over here at the theater here at WEG, which is one of the
Theater.
It's one of the only venues left for other stuff other than competition at this point, and it's being used right now because it's pouring down rain and everybody ran into the theater.
And they have the best air conditioning in there.
Yes, they do. And great movies. And speaking of movies, we have Ashley Mancuso with us. Tell us about what you did.
Okay, so I work for Marcia Sapp, and she's a horse trainer.
We know Marcia. She's been on our shows many times.
Oh, yeah. She's amazing. I went to Florida State for school, and I stayed when I met her. So I ride. I train horses, too. But when we found out that her horse had a song written about him, she said we need a music video. And I studied media. I've always wanted to make movies, so we put together a music video for him, and it was...
The horse has his own music video.
Yes.
Tell us about the horse, because that's a story.
Oh, gosh. Well, where do I start? Cobra was a 3 Strikes Mustang. And
that means he was about to be...
Yeah, that was...
Shipped out.
all downhill, right? Out of
Future
chances.
was bleak.
Yeah.
Very no hope left, but the Extreme Mustang Makeover presented itself as an opportunity for Marcia to pick out her own horse. And when she saw videos of him, she picked him out of 200.
Now, the videos that these competitors get to see are just that wild Mustang being zhuzhed around a paddock.
That's right. But, she saw potential very early on. And so she started working with him, and it was rough at first, but then she competed him for many years, and he actually has 5 national championships, 2 world championships in dressage, and he does English and Western dressage.
So he was an underperformer.
Right, yeah, exactly. He's got nothing to him. No, so, that's why I decided to go work with Marcia is when I heard the story, so I've always been inspired by her, but... he's an incredible horse. He's very noble. His presence is, he just...
And it's a music video.
It's a music video.
And who did the music?
I did. Oh, no, I didn't do the music.
Okay.
Peter Prince wrote a song about him, and he's a songwriter, and he recorded it in Nashville at RCA Records.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and it was written, and it was performed by Ronnie Kimball, who's a singer. And then I made the music video.
Did you do the footage yourself, or
I did. I did all the footage, all the editing, everything myself. Well, and I worked with Marcia.
Was this your first music video?
It was, especially for a horse.
It's harder than it looks, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So you, having started taking horses in college, you had some clue what was going to happen. Versus Glenn and I would go, you have to do that?
That's why we do audio. Video is so hard.
Yeah, video is very different.
There are a lot of different factors, but we really wanted the audience to be able to connect immediately with the story, and that's hard because the story is huge, and the Mustang issue, it's an issue, is enormous.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot.
Exactly, and so the song is very happy and it's uplifting, and so we wanted the music video to not only be uplifting and elated, but also realistic and bring in the beginning emotions, which were, like we said, bleak and very frustrating and emotional. And so that's kind of where it starts, and then it moves on forward to where we are now.
The grand champion.
Exactly, yeah.
So what's the video
called? What's it called? Where can they find it?
Cobra, the Mustang, Follow Your Wild Heart. And you can find it, we always say Wild World Champion is Cobra's kind of slogan. But Follow Your Wild Heart is the name of the music video.
And where do they find it?
You can find it on YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah,
okay.
It's 6 minutes, 20 seconds, and it does, have more information about the story. And then the song is available on iTunes, so you can buy the song, and it's a great tune. I mean, my whole family loved it. Everyone, young and old, they
So if they're
love it.
going in and searching for Cobra the Wild Mustang music video, they're going to find it.
They're gonna find it. You're gonna see a lot of cars on there too.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, there
that's
is that
true.
other thing.
Cobra plus
Yeah.
Mustang, you're going to get car videos. Good point.
Exactly. But I think it has around 5,000 views right now, and
Yay.
we really hope that
Let's
that's
see if we can kick that up a little
We
bit.
can kick it up a bit.
I would love that because this
We'll
is
post it on our Facebook page.
Yeah,
too.
we'll kick it up a little
So
bit.
we'll
That's
do that for you.
phenomenal.
That'd
Thank
be
you
great.
so
And
much.
anything for Marcia.
Oh yeah, she's amazing.
And,
She's
and I know
really
she's here. I'll get to see her, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know if we've ever met in person. We talked to all these people.
really
we never
don't-
meet
we
anybody.
never meet any of them.
Yeah, so that'd be fun. Are you now a professional music video maker?
I don't know about that, but I'm working my way up. With riding and with everything media, I'm forever a student, and I would like to stay that way forever.
Well, one last question that we get busted for not asking this is, what do you ride?
What do I ride? Well, I grew up doing 3-day eventing in Pony Club, an HB-rated pony clubber, and now I ride FEI level dressage.
And tell us about your horse. This is what we always get in trouble for. 2 horses.
I have 2 horses. I have a paint quarter horse, and she is a reserve national champion in Western dressage.
Wow.
And I have a big Danish warm blood, and he took me through
So you do
training
both?
and some prelim.
English
I
and
did
Western?
do both,
Yeah.
but a little bit of both. My mom grew up on a ranch in Wyoming. So that was always kind of my destiny, I think, to find a Western
See, I
saddle.
was guessing English because you're not blinged out.
Oh, no.
No.
Hey, now I'm a filmmaker, too.
That's right,
So I'm
yeah.
just in my sneakers today.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
So coming up tomorrow here at WEG is dressage. The team medals will be determined. Individual qualifier also. Eventing has team and individual competition in dressage.
Yes.
Half of it, the first half. They were warming up out here today. Reining has the individual second qualifier, and endurance says medals, but that ain't happening. There will be no medals tomorrow for endurance. So that won't be happening. But we have those 3 things going on tomorrow. We always like to wrap up the end of the day with kind of a paragraph from each of us about the day. Or you want to start?
I'm so sad for the endurance. I think, it's a horrible way to get everything started. I'm devastated for the riders, the grooms, the owners, the supporters. When you think about everyone, Glenn, how much it takes. Everyone knows that you're here, and then think about if you're riding here, everyone's supporting you and following you and crossing their fingers for you. It's a horrible thing to happen. So I'm devastated for that. I was excited to get out and walk the course. My feet have been wet all day. I think this is probably. I don't know if they'll dry out between now
Blisters
and when
for
we
you tomorrow.
leave. Well, no, I mean not blisters, but I feel like probably by the time we leave here on Sunday 23rd, I'll have trench foot. But Jen has some exciting news from us.
What's up, Jen?
They just did the medal ceremony for Team Reining.
And what do we have?
USA takes gold.
Oh, wow.
way.
Yay.
I can't
Who
tell.
would have thought?
Who'd have thought, right? Surprise.
And they, by the way, have won gold every WEG.
Go USA.
Yes, Team Gold. I couldn't tell who got bronze and silver because their shirts didn't say what country they were.
Okay, so we know that USA has gold. Breaking news here at the end
Breaking
of the
news.
show.
There we go. They're literally handing them their flowers right now.
Congratulations
Woohoo.
to Team USA, and the individual competitions will continue tomorrow in Reining. I think my thoughts are the same as yours. It was a wild day, probably one of the wildest days at a WEG as far as tempers flaring over at Endurance.
It was exciting, but not in the way we anticipated.
No, it was not that way, and it is sad. It is sad to see that.
It's a shame.
We are posting a ton of stuff over
Yep.
at 2018 WEG Show's Facebook page. I mean, through other media outlets, you kind of get it filtered, what they're allowed to post, and it's all right and tidy. Ours is not. You're getting raw from the WEG. We're doing Facebook Lives. We're posting a bunch of pictures.
We're untidy.
We're untidy. That's right. You're getting the untidy reporting here but we're doing a lot of it, and I think it's a lot of fun. People seem to be enjoying it. So head on over to 2018 WEG Show. If you don't like it yet, please do like it. And we also announce when the shows are coming out and everything. You just went by a picture on your Facebook page of the hurricane of Avanti Flow, and it is huge. Oh my God. It's grown over 200 miles wider in the lat today. Ugh. All right,
You
there
don't
we go.
want to know.
It's already reached Category 4, and it's been intensifying quickly,
But we're having fun here at WEG.
speeding up to 55 mile per hour in less than a day. It's on its way, people.
There we go.
Let's sign off, guys. I'm really tired.
Let's go. Let's head out of here. Follow us at 2018wegshow.com. You can find us on any podcast player or also the Horse Radio Network app. You can search Horse Radio Network, iOS or Android. Thank you to our sponsors, Kentucky Performance Products, Horseware, Bates Saddles, and Bed and Barn Farms. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night for another day of coverage from the 2018 WEG.